We're here since yesterday, Thursday. We arrived about 2:30 in the afternoon along with officials from the Belize Coast Guard, officials from the Department of Environment and the Belize Port Authority. And we made the trip to see the Guatemalan vessel that ran aground here at Glover's Reef, just a quarter-mile away from Middle Key, where we are at the moment. That ship, the warship, is directly behind me, a few feet away, as you can see. Now, what's happening at the moment is that Department of Environment officials are trying to assess the damage that it has caused to the reef. 3 officials from the Department of Environment and 2 from the Belize Port Authority also made the journey to Glover's Reef to conduct their respective investigations. Their subject is a Guatemalan warship that ran aground on the reef on Wednesday night. We were all accompanied by members of the Belize Coast Guard, including Vice Commandant Elton Bennett. At first sight, you might think that this vessel is resting, but truly it is stuck and has been since Wednesday night, more than 30 hours ago. The second vessel that it was traveling with stayed off Belize's territorial water some 20 miles away from the site. Upon arrival, investigators went in to take a closer look, and by 5 o'clock on Thursday, the other Guatemalan vessel was summoned to straighten the first vessel as the crushing waves were getting too strong that it was pushing the 65-ton vessel more onto the reef.
Due to the high tide coming in, the vessel continued to drift with the angle of the wave that was coming in. We saw it necessary to try to right the vessel so that there's no more further damage done to the reef and the vessel would not creep any more on the reef. We managed to right the vessel just at a good enough angle to prevent any further damage done to the reef.
That took about an hour, and by that time daylight was lost, so the operation was put on pause. The second Guatemalan vessel went back behind the 12 miles maritime marker, while the stuck vessel kept on being pounded by the increasingly strong waves throughout the night. At first light, a Belize tugboat coming from the port of Big Creek slowly made its way near the vessel. An official from the Department of Environment made a dive to quickly observe what's beneath the pristine waters and to make sure that the rope does not get caught up in the reef. Minutes passed and the rope was firmly tied on the bollard of the Guatemalan vessel. From there, the tugboat began to tug.
The first priority is to get the ship off. Nobody wants a 64-ton aluminum ship sitting on the reef, so we want to get that off. As it relates to the cost associated with the damage, that's done between the Foreign Service. Because of the status of the warship, that is done in between government. So our Foreign Affairs and the Foreign Ministry of Guatemala will dialogue and work out that arrangement. So on the ground, our priority is to get that vessel off, prevent as much damage to the reef, and the assessment or the cost associated with the damage is worked out from government to government.
The tugboat was experiencing some problems, so the second Guatemalan vessel was called back to render assistance. But the rope broke, so at 8 o'clock in the morning, the operation was put on pause once more, and the second Guatemalan vessel was sent back once more as well. Everyone, including the Guatemalans, had to wait for an extended amount of hours. Communication was sent to Guatemala, and word received was that a speedboat was on its way with stronger ropes. As the hours passed, Vice Commandant of the Belize Coast Guard Elton Bennett says there were no tensions. All the individuals on the boat armed?
They have personal weapons on board, which is standard for any military vessel.
What sort of weapons?
Sorry?
What sort of weapons?
Personal weapons on board, which would mean personal rifles. The vessel is equipped with a large gun, as you can see on the bow of the vessel, which is covered, which is a standard practice for any naval vessel on innocent passage. They plan to move from Puerto Barros, Guatemala to Isla Mujeres on an exercise, and the transit would have them navigating or traversing Belize territorial seas, and they would claim innocent passage in doing so. Innocent passage is a vessel navigating a territorial seas of another country, and the vessel is continuous and expeditious. It does not stop, it does not conduct military exercise, its guns are covered, as you can see with this vessel. There is no landing or taking off of any aircraft. And once that vessel is continuous and moving, then it's innocent passage.
So can you tell us whether or not these types of boats journey through these waters constantly? Because one of the questions that we posed to the CEO is that how do we not know that these boats come through our waters every now and then?
It's very rare that we receive information of a foreign naval vessel transiting our territorial seas. There's There's nothing wrong with it. It's called innocent passage, and they have a right to do so because it's a territorial seas. I don't think it would complicate the situation. I think the way this is being handled will definitely be able to ease some of those tensions between two countries. If it turns out to be a genuine case of accident, which from all indications, it seems there's absolutely no aggression by the Guatemalan Navy at this point, at this location, from the time we arrived. So I think working together on a case like this will probably ease some of those tensions that probably exist.
We spoke to the official from the Department of Environment, and he told us that from what he observed, it does not seem that there were any living coral in the area. We though found this little guy, a sea snail. In fact, hundreds of them decorate the shallow waters immediately adjacent to the crash site. When the vessel is removed, it will go directly back to Guatemala.
Yesterday during the inspection, we found 2 holes in the hull of the vessel. There were small holes. The vessel was taking on water, but the pump on board would have been able to defray that, would have been able to pump out more water than was taken in. So once the vessel is removed and it goes on the way, we'll confirm that their steering is good and their propulsion system is good. And they will travel along with the other Navy vessel that you see out here, along with them, and head back to Puerto Barros. I will communicate with them by radio, and once they're out of sight and out of range, then the operation is finished.
From Milky, I am full of updates.